Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another Fortnite video. It's been a while since I've actually posted like a real video because I'm usually just posting shorts because I do a lot better on shorts than making actual videos. But yeah. So I'm putting a lot of effort into this video, so I would appreciate it if you guys could leave a like, maybe drop a sub while you're at it. Don't need to. Just throwing it out there. You don't want to support me. If this video does well, I'll make more videos like it, even though I'll probably make another one regardless, because I think videos like this are kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys would agree or not. But yeah, enough of my yapping. I'm just gonna get into what Epic Games did right with Chapter 5 and what they didn't do right. And this is just my opinion, so you guys can agree or disagree all you want. But I am kind of curious what you guys think about it too. But so I'm gonna just get straight into it. So what I think they did right is what I'm just gonna start off with here. At the beginning of December, right after OG ended, Fortnite released Chapter 5, and with the release of Chapter 5, Fortnite added a multitude of new things into the game, like a new map, new loot pool. And like with that new loot pool, we got like a new weapon mod feature, a new movement mechanic, and just a lot of other things. On top of that, there are a good amount of players that came back to the game like due to OG that were here to like play the chapter. Um which that was like really good for chapter 5 because in previous chapters we haven't really seen like a large player count like we did with chapter 5. But with every new chapter there are a lot of things that players like and dislike. The point of the video isn't to go into every detail about like chapter 5, and like I'm not going to go like in depth about each season. If you want a video like that, I'll probably end up making one. That's an idea I have. But right now, I'm just getting to what I thought Fortnite did right. So, first of all, every season had an interesting theme with a battle pass, the massive theme of the season. Battle passes matching the theme of the season isn't something we really like. It's something we really haven't seen in a while. Like I feel like a lot of battle passes, like in like chapter 3 and chapter 4, they were all just like random skins, and they didn't really, not just skins, but just like a bunch of random stuff that really didn't relate to the season at all. Um, and I just think that's really cool because I've always wanted more battle passes that match the theme of the season. Because as I just said, previous seasons really don't like include that in their battle pass anymore. Another thing I think they did right was add interesting mobility items. Most seasons, when we get a new mobility item, it's like either very generic or just feels really weird to use. Chapter 4 had a really good and interesting like mobility. And with chapter 5, they just kept doing that, which I think is really nice. Like this chapter, we had things like the grapple blade. Felt like a slightly nerfed version of the ODM gear that we saw in chapter 4, season 2, but it was still fun nonetheless. We also had like the wings of Icarus, we had Nitro, and then the Nitro Fist, and most recently with the release of season 4, we had the War Machine hover jets. These are all very unique and fun to use, which is why I really like them. And like I really hope that Epic Games like keeps adding mobility like that because it keeps the game feeling fun. The mini events that we had at the end of each season were also really cool. I know Epic Games used to do a lot of those back in the day, but it feels like over the years we haven't gotten as many mini events. Like after we usually get like a live event at the end of every chapter nowadays. So seeing all these mini events after each season was really cool. And also it contributed to a lot of the hype. And that's also something we needed because like in older seasons, the hype for new seasons were kind of on the low. And kind of like connecting into that too, Epic Games like dropping like teasers on social media or in game that relates to like what next season is also brings a lot of hype, which is another like that's also something I really like. Um, and then finally for like this section here, Epic listened to us a lot. Like every time like there was a complaint from a lot of people in the community, Epic Games would come out and respond to it and try changing it to the best of their ability, which I really like because in previous seasons, Epic Games didn't listen to us as much, just kind of took away the fun because everything just didn't like things just didn't feel fun. Like yeah, that's really all that I can think of about like what I thought they did right. I mean, there's probably more things, but I can't really think of anything at the top of my head right now. But now I'm gonna get into what I think they didn't do well. And you guys should definitely brace yourselves because what I'm about to talk about is a lot. I should have mentioned earlier in the video that I'm not the biggest fan of this chapter. I like the first season, but everything else, I can't stand it. Like, I just cannot stand it. It's just so annoying. But so I'm just gonna start off with the thing that most people will agree with is the movement this chapter is absolutely horrible. When I say movement, I don't mean the mobility items because I talked about mobility items and those are something I actually really like about this chapter. But when I say movement, I mean like the movement animations, how it feels to walk, spring, crouch, all that kind of stuff. I feel like changing the movement was one of the worst things they could have done. Just because there was no issue, like there were no problems with the original movement. And it was just changing it out of the blue like that. I didn't like it. I just didn't. Like the new movement, it might look like decent, but in the long run, it just doesn't feel good at all. It feels slow and clunky, and it feels like it was like super rushed. They did end up making slight adjustments to it, but even after those, it really didn't feel much better. I prefer the old movement, and I'm hoping that they bring it back. Maybe next chapter, maybe for the next OG season in November. I don't know. Just please, Epic Games, bring back the old movement. I think that's something we can all agree on. Another thing are the weapons. The weapons this chapter are so god awful, and I just hate using them. All of the weapons have bullet travel, makes them super difficult to use. Like I feel like the only weapons that should have bullet travel are snipers, because without bullet travel, snipers would probably be the most overpowered weapon ever added to this game. There are a few weapons I actually like this chapter, like the Thunderburst SMG, the Gatekeeper shotgun, and the Reaper sniper rifle, because those were all just like really powerful as it was, and it just felt good using them. But while I'm talking about weapons, I also might as well talk about the weapon mods. I don't necessarily hate the weapon mods, but I think it's a cool feature, and the way they implemented it sucks. Like most of the mod options are really basic and we don't have a lot of cool ones. I feel like if we had some mods like a fire bullets or the ability to put an AR muzzle on like an SMG, that would be really cool. But we just have generic stuff like a drum mag or reduced recoil. And since most of the weapons this chapter are just mid in general, using mod on these weapons are just not fun at all. They just don't feel good to use. Another thing are the updates throughout the season. I feel like when we get updates throughout the season, like especially nowadays, this chapter specifically, they're very lackluster. I feel like we don't get much content, and when we do, it either just feels too strong or too weak, and it just gets boring so fast. Look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle collab, or the Avatar, or the Pirates of the Caribbean collab. Like it was fun at first, but then they added things that either as like I just said, they felt too weak or too strong. I just ended up getting sick of it. It just, I don't know. But finally, the balance changes that Epic did were also things that I didn't like because when Epic first released something, people would find it too weak or too strong. So when Epic decided to do something about it, it would just end up swapping. The things that were too weak would end up becoming the most strongest thing in the loot pool, and the things that were originally strong would just become weak and unusable. A good example of these things are like the Reaper Sniper, the water bending, the car mods, Nitro Fist, War Machine's Arsenal. And with the sniper, it was so good because it did so much damage, and the bullet travel wasn't that bad for a sniper. And then they nerfed it into the ground by reducing the damage, making it harder to hit opponents. It's just it just really sucked. The water bending also felt really clunky at first and felt really weak. Then they changed it and made it a lot more usable. Then, like, I'm not gonna go into things like the car mods, the Nitro Fist, and the War Machine Arsenal because I think you guys all know like what the deal with those were and how Epic Games decided to nerf them. Just like the things that they did well, there are definitely a lot more things that I feel like I can talk about, but they just really can't like go to the top of my head because there's just so much. Like I've like talked about mostly the big ones, and y'all probably don't want smaller ones. So yeah. I also don't want this video to be too long, even though it's already looking to be a little on the longer side than other things I've posted in the past. But yeah, that's it for this video. If you agree or disagree with any of these things, let me know in the comments. I'd like to know your guys' thoughts. And just let me think, just like let me know what you guys think Epic Games did right or wrong. Because yeah, I'm just interested in what you guys would say. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and stay on the lookout because I'm working on getting myself a supporter creator code. So, if you like my videos and want to support me, you can just use that once I get it. Also make sure to follow me on TikTok, Twitch, just all my other social media, because I'm an aspiring content creator. I would appreciate it. But anyways, hope y'all have a good one, and I will see you guys next time.